Okay, so this is a tutorial on Audacity, and I'm going to assume that you've already installed it and downloaded it, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that can show you how to do that. But I want to kind of go through a couple of little problematic things that you might run into if you were going to do this. So first of all, you can see up here that we have a microphone, and I want to choose my microphone device. So I have a USB and I have a Yeti, and I want to click on my Yeti. Now, if this turns out gray, then we're going to have a little bit of a problem. So I need to click on that again for some reason, and then I have the ability to move this slider. So this is the input. So if you have a microphone that's quite a ways away or really close, you may want to turn it up or turn it down. The other thing here is just the monitor, and this kind of gives you an idea of how loud you're actually recording. So I want to start monitoring, and so you can kind of see that my input levels are almost peaking. So when I peak, that's when I get popping and clicking, and I don't want to do that. So I want to maybe reduce my microphone down a little bit until I practice just talking here. I'm not recording anything. I want to make sure that my levels are not going to spike, because then my high end of my audio is going to be cut off, which is going to be that crack and pop and snap, and that's not going to be a good thing. So I may bring it down a little bit more so that I'm making sure that I'm not going to go on out there. So all of that said, all I need to do is hit record, and I have a little poem here that's not very meaningful, but it's "Be Glad Your Nose Is on Your Face" by Jack Prelutsky. And it's just kind of silly, but I use it as an example. So I hit record after I'm, again, double checking here, and I'd like to be able to kind of keep monitoring this. So maybe if you have a roommate or somebody that can watch to know that you don't go through your whole recording and then it's been blown out. So I hit record, and I'm going to start. So "Be Glad Your Nose Is on Your Face" by Jack Prelutsky. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place, for if it were where it is not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Imagine if your precious nose were sandwiched in between your toes. That clearly would not be a treat, for you'd be forced to smell your feet. Your nose would be a source of dread were it attached atop your head. It soon would drive you to despair, forever tickled by your hair. Within your ear your nose would be an absolute catastrophe, for when you were obliged to sneeze, your brain would rattle from the breeze. Your nose, instead, through thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin. Not pasted on some other place, be glad your nose is on your face. Then I can hit stop. And you can see here that I've got my waveform, and really I have a lot more ability to go a little bit louder. I could have gotten louder. If it is flatlined and you can hardly see anything, then it's not really a very good recording. I'm going to record one more thing here at the end, and I'm going to show you what happens if it gets spiked. So I'm going to turn this up just a hair and then record. Oops, I got another track, so I'm going to delete that track. And I guess I can show you in a minute here on another track. So anyway, I'll go to that in just a minute. What I do want to do is I want to kind of sweeten the sound, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear this. I'm going to see what we can do. But the basics are the first 10 seconds, I'm asking you to kind of sweeten the sound, maybe bring up the bass or bring up the treble. And so I can select right down here to 10 seconds. And then I can go to Effect, and I can go to Bass and Treble. And so I can mess around with the bass and treble. It probably is defaulted to about right here. So I can preview this and listen to it. And you're probably not going to be able to hear that, but you're going to kind of tweak this, maybe bringing up the treble and bringing down the bass. And then all you're going to do is hit OK, and it's going to apply it to that section. You might, if you're better at audio, you might go to equalization and do some like graphic EQ. Like if you have a equalizer on your stereo, you can pull up the bass and you can do some things that are pretty pretty detailed. But I'm not smart enough to do that. So there's some other things here we can do. We can go to Effect, and in the second 10 seconds, then I would like you to play around with some effects, like maybe slowing the pitch down or changing the speed. So I could change the pitch, and if I do this kind of carefully here and use the preview, I can not speed up my voice, but I can raise the pitch so I can make myself a chipmunk sound. And that's how they made the Chipmunks movie. So that's pretty much it. Then what we're going to do is go to File and Export, and we're going to save it as a WAV file with your name and audio on it, and then you're going to upload that to Blackboard. Okay, so I'll come back here real quick and show you something that's blown out in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit what happens with the waveform if I blow something out. So I'm going to allow my microphone to be a lot louder, and I'm going to start monitoring, and I can see that now I'm starting to peak, and that little red line right here shows me that I've peaked at least once. Now I'm going to hit record. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place, for if it were not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Now if we analyze this, when we look at this waveform, you can see that actually this wave should have went on up higher, but it clipped off that high end, that real loud part, and then it's going to be really loud and kind of crackly because I'm actually lost some of my audio. My first recording, I can increase the audio a little bit, but here once I've clipped the audio, there's really nothing to do aside from remake your video. Okay, now let's assume that my voice was a little bit too quiet, and so I'm going to record. I've got my microphone down quite a bit. I'm going to check my monitoring, and you can see it's definitely not peaking now. So I spoke too quietly. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place. If it were not where it is, you might dislike your nose a lot. Now you can see that this is, I really could have captured a lot more. And so you probably really should just redo it if it's this bad. But if you want to tweak to some degree, I can select all this, go to Effect and Amplify, and now I can bump this up a bit. I can try it, and I can check out the preview, and I can listen to it, and then I can hit OK, and you can see that it amplified this waveform, but I don't want it to clip. So now I've increased the volume of this clip, but my quality is suffering a little bit, so it's much better to just record well than to rely on this amplify, because now I did clip. You can see that there should have been a little bit more wave form up above this line. So hopefully that's going to be helpful.